Okay, welcome to another edition of Real Estate Investor Talk. And I'm sitting here at the Feenstra Group with the chairman, Pieter Feenstra. Tell us a little bit about where did the Feenstra Group start? How did it all start? I know you had a little bit of background in property and corporate telecom. Maybe you want to start it there.
We had a very interesting and a very exciting path with the telecom years. In Telkom decided to outsource its property portfolio, which was really a huge undertaking. 7,000 properties and another 10,000 technical properties and master things. So we took over the total infrastructure, and we created a company called TFMC, which consisted eventually of about, I think we had 2,000 staff members, 800 or 900 vehicles servicing all the properties throughout the country. And we were responsible from the strategy of the portfolio right through to all property developments, all major leases, maintenance. It was really a major operation to commercialize that whole business. And that obviously put us myself very close to the sort of very large property initiatives and projects. So that was a very exciting time. And after a number of years, I think TFMC was then humming and operationally stable. And I think the entrepreneurial element to me then said, look, it's time to do something a bit more, start something new and more entrepreneurial.
When was it? What year was that more or less?
We started in 2000. And in fact, the FMC today, 15 years later, still running strong. So it's very pleasing to know that the foundations we put down was very sustainable and was a robust business model. And it's still very successful and it's part of one of the listed groups currently.
So what happened after that? You got the entrepreneurial spirit. Where did it go from there? From being very corporate and big?
I was a consulting engineer before the time, but when I exited the DFMC company, I decided to just really keep me busy with a few interesting property developments. But one thing led to another, and today we actually very busy with some very exciting multi-billion rand property developments. And we started very small, really myself and a secretary.
Right.
And
what was your first project?
I think now. I think we did a building for the National Prosecuting Authority, which we bought the old SABC building, which we did a whole conversion on a long-term PPP basis, one of the more successful PPPs, and with a whole FM background and facilities management. We had a whole FM project linked to it, and I think that's also still running today quite successfully. And from there on, one thing, obviously people get to take notice, and then we did this in Corporate Park. I think was our second big development. It's about 30,000 square meters, and then we started getting into the student accommodation as well, which is a very exciting phase for us.
It seems to be a big focus. Because there seems to be a bit of a shift, and there's a need, obviously, for student accommodation.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it. There's a lot of reports around citing huge shortages, and I think it's all theoretical. I don't think there are real major shortages because every student lives somewhere, either at home or in a commune or in a flat or in conditions which may not be conducive to their studying. So really, the shortage is a misnomer, and it's very clear that you have to produce a value proposition that works for that student. So your product, the price which you put it in the market, and your position will make whether the student move from where he is now until coming to your development. So it's like any other property development. You've got to have a value proposition which is attractive.
Just expand a little bit about what that value proposition is.
We did a lot of studies internationally. We went to do research in the UK, which is probably 10, 15 years ahead of us in this field, and other places in Europe. and we went to numerous developers to see what is the best and where is this product going. Because we got to look now for the next 20, 30 years ahead. And the kids, they want more these days. They want fancier things. They want smarter things. And life is moving on.
Sure.
So we believe the old product of reses and sneaking in and out of a flat somewhere between people which are not in your community of students. I think that's a dated model. And this is the next wave which is going to come. So our research pointed us to 2 or 3 models, which is the studio type, which we believe very strongly in. And we've probably got 2,000 beds just on studios, which is really ideally in the upper level, the upper quartile, I would say, of students' affordability. But we also can make them available to the NSFAS and the like by the sharing model.
Right. Okay, so some of your business model is that you develop and then you hold and you rent out. In this particular instance, with these units, it's also rentals.
It's all rentals. We believe it's a sustainable product. If your locality close to your universities, your product and your price is right, university is going nowhere. It's going to stay there for the next 100 years, hopefully. It's a solid, your market is therefore not moving away. And if you're first to the market and you have a product which is a desirable product, and it's walking distance to the university, a student can roll over his bed and just make it in time for class, then we think it's something which is really sustainable.
So probably some of the things you probably have to consider was like Wi-Fi, I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't know whether there's TVs or meeting rooms. Are there some of the kind of things that you...
We did a lot of research on campus,
right.
Independent research, and companies to understand what are the important factors for students. The first is security.
Right.
So we have huge security systems in terms of biometrics and through various layers to get into your rooms. So safety, roaming guard is number 1. Number 2 is proximity to campus. 3 is the affordability. And then it's Wi-Fi and a few other things. We got study rooms. Because today a lot of the kids are working on projects in teams. So we have huge study rooms, recreational areas. We have a person focusing on creating all sorts of interesting get-togethers, drives, soccer teams, and all of that because there's a huge need, especially your first-year student, to belong to a community. You comes the idea from the platteland or somewhere, doesn't know anybody, feels isolated, and for academic success, it's also important, not just the conducive environment, but also feeling part of the community, somewhere to go. We have house mother, house father on all our properties. So if they get stuck, they can, call on them.
Yeah.
So yes, that is not just, and I think internationally it moves away from just renting a bed.
Sure.
That model is dead.
Yeah.
It is now creating an environment, creating a community, and supporting these students so that he can do best in his academic endeavors.
Tell us a little bit about the Feenstra Group and moving offshore. When did you do it? I know you've gone into Australia.
Yeah.
Tell us first of all, why did you decide to go offshore? When did you go offshore and why Australia?
Well, we at one stage we went into the Middle East areas where there were huge opportunities, but we lost a lot of money through wrong partners, fly in, fly out, and all those models, legal systems. You don't quite understand language you're not there with, and we decided, look, this doesn't work. So we were really sort of guided by local South Africans in Australia, which then formed a group with local Australians. Right. And we've been finding them as very honourable and credible and people of integrity. And that was the basis, really. We definitely were not interested in Africa. I think we have enough of Africa and South Africa, so we were not interested in Africa. And so we really built on the back of a good partnership which we established over the last 10 years, starting very slowly and then moving on to bigger projects which we're doing at the moment.
Okay. So you mainly moved into residential apartments type, which we would call sectional title. I don't know what they would.
Australia, we were doing two things. We started off with a sectional title sell-off, developed and sell-off, which we did very nicely with. And lately we've been bringing the team over here to show them our student accommodation models and our developments. And since we've gone into quite large 1,000 beds, 800 beds developments in Brisbane and in Melbourne. And that's coming on very nicely, and that proved to be very successful there because Australia, their second or third biggest export product is tertiary education after the resources and that type of thing.
Interesting.
So a lot of Asians are coming into Australia, and it's a very big export market. So a huge demand, wealthy Asians are coming in, and we find that the product is working very well. It's really a bit of an export of our knowledge here, and we think it's a stable environment. The currencies are stable. People understand you. Very, very well managed, legally high quality people. Only drawback is a time limit. You got to get up 7 o'clock in the morning to Skype meetings and fly in, fly out gives you a bit of jet lag and that type of thing. That's the downside.
Tell us a little bit more about some of your. I know in the mainland area you also had some other commercial developments. Tell us a little bit about that.
We've done Mainland Corporate Park. Before Mainland Main really kicked off, we believe we was the catalyst to get the Mainland Main also going. So we did Mainland Corporate Park. We now expanded to the building. We also acquired another property, also about the same size. And we think for the offices market, these are office developments. We think with the economy where it is in South Africa, that's enough for the moment. And then we've really moved into building on the private university model, which we've built across in 1 year for Pearson's International, which we've put up that building. And that's also which we believe there's a robust development pipeline in the private tertiary field coming. That is sort of our first entree into that.
Absolutely. So, Peter, where do you see in the future? What's the next big thing for the Feenstra Group? Is it in South Africa? Is it offshore?
Well, I think we just carry on, keep our head down, and looking at good opportunities. We're quite selective. We don't have a very big thing in mind. We diversify slowly offshore. We're evaluating opportunities day to day. We're looking for value. We're looking to create value, to do smart type of deals, win-win deals. These take time. And therefore we just carry on with our normal job. We build it around our people. Keep our capacity. We're not there to expand to A, B or C targets. We do it per the opportunity which we believe the risk level is mitigated enough, the quality of the income streams are there, the quality of the property, and then we will go for it.
Parting shots, Peter, in terms of going forward, the future. In South Africa, it's come under a lot of criticism, obviously, coming mainly political, driven, and that kind of stuff. Are you still confident about South Africa going forward?
I think South Africa, I think that proof in the pudding is in the eating, and time will tell. At the moment, it is certainly, I think, challenging because we have our yields our initial development yields sort of aligned with your cost of funding. So that's not too exciting. Whereas in Australia, it's a different ballgame. A positive yield from day one. We're sitting with the economy that's flat, it's not growing. That's not a great environment. We're sitting with uncertain political announcement being made, which is not comforting to anybody. A lot of it is rhetoric, a lot of it might come through, who knows. A lot of, so the growth is not there, the unemployment is huge. So, if you look at the general picture, there's not a lot of positive which I can add here. The thing which we believe in anything, there's always pockets of opportunity. Not everything is doom and gloom. Generally, it doesn't look too great. But pockets, and we are very busy at the moment because we are not, the larger funds are more the whole of South Africa influence, and we just look for a little development here and there.
Right.
So we believe there are still pockets of opportunity. Our inner city portfolios, we're very pleased with that, and that's driven by urbanization. Urbanization is a big drive in South Africa. Other developments are the education line, it's a big drive. So we think there are lots of opportunities still here. But the overall picture is a very challenging one. But no, I don't. And I think if you can adapt to the changes as they come, whatever they are, you'll always survive. And I think that's what we're trying to do. Think onto the environment in which we operate.
Sure.
And those who can adapt and adjust, I think they will always be successful, whatever happens in South Africa.
Well, Peter, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think you shared some great insight about the company. I think especially on the student accommodation. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.